Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa D'Amico with the Rockland Arts Festival, and I have the wonderful pleasure today of speaking with Jackie Volkell, who's an amazing artist, and I'm really looking forward to hearing about her piece in the festival and just more about Jackie as an artist.
Okay. Hi, Lisa. Thanks. I'm so happy to meet you, and I'm so happy to participate in this event. It sounds very exciting, and it sounds like a good way, like we were just mentioning, to network and to meet people. So I just wrote down a little bit about where I am with my current work. My current work is landscape actually, and it's based on my backyard. And I live in Tarrytown, and I live on Main Street. So I don't really have a backyard. What I have is like a 6 by 8 concrete patio, and I have all brush, like trees, and then I have Main Street. So I live like in a condominium development that's a little bit secluded. So my view is just pieces of Main Street. So I see like the fire hydrant. I see across the street my neighbor who has more of like an industrial style house. I see the yellow line that runs down a street, a black, black pavement street. Um, I see my garbage can, like just hazes of it, just little pieces of it. So, and of course, I see the brush that's my backyard. So I see the trees. So, really, the painting that's in the art show is my backyard. So, I try to emphasize what I see. So, I see a lot of trees. I see it's more chaotic from my point of view, and it's just hit and miss in terms of seeing the fire hydrant or seeing pieces, depending on the time of year, seeing pieces of my neighbor's building. So I think that's kind of a bit of like, and that's what I try to do in the painting. I try to emphasize what I can see. And the reason I chose that is because I just was getting to work, like getting to artwork. So I just set up my canvas in my backyard, and or in my little porch that faces the backyard. And I figured I'm an abstract painter, I'm better from life, and let me get started. So that's what really brought me to the painting that's in the show. But I did like 10 or 12 of those. So I kept trying in different sizes to paint my backyard. So that's 36 by 48, but I also painted 36 by 36. I painted 12 by 16, 48 by 60. So I was kind of really trying to experiment to see what I could come out of my backyard, because really it's not beauty. I mean, it's beauty to a point, but it's really just brush and trees and elements of the street. So that's basically it. So I try to just bring out the elements that I see or I wanted to use. Like I use the fire hydrant. I don't know if it's in that painting, but I used it in other paintings because it's bold and red, where it was totally contrast to the colors that are used. Because I continue to use those colors throughout the body of work mostly. Um, and I know in that painting, I used different kind of lines, and that was the just to show that I live in a neighborhood, or I live in a congested neighborhood, and it's become so much more congested with all the home deliveries and stuff, and there's so many trucks and trees and people just coming and going like there never was before. And I don't know, do you have any questions?
I do. I'm very curious. What mediums did you use in this piece?
Oh, okay. Oil on canvas. It's just oil on canvas, actually. I
Really?
do use some mediums like stand oil,
Mhm.
or sometimes I use a quick drying medium, but not really. It's just all oil. It's layers of oil paint. And if I could remember, I like use a Williamsburg oil paint. I use Gamblin. I use um I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but Schmick, Schminke oil
Uh-huh.
paint. And I use a lot of times I use palette knives, I use brushes, but really it's just oil paint, building up layers, which is something I've always done. And I don't necessarily have formal training, but I did for 10 years go to the School of Visual Arts on Saturdays with a friend, and that was like a teacher setting, but it wasn't formal. Like I didn't get credits for it. Like I don't have a master's in art or an undergrad in art. I have a master's in counseling. So, what else?
You know, Jackie, I really love your piece. And now hearing about the inspiration behind it, it brings it together for me. And I will put the piece in this video so people can see what we're talking about. What I want to know is, especially with abstract artwork, how much preparation in terms of composition? Do you do sketches? Do you draw on the canvas? Is it more free flowing than that? How calculated is it prior to the actual execution?
This wasn't calculated at all. I know in the past when I did the human, I used to paint the figure more because at School of Visual Arts, it's very education oriented. And we did the figure where I did do sketches beforehand, but nothing that detailed. This wasn't calculated at all. It was just like, I don't even think I could recreate that. It really was just me. Like I know how to use color. So it was me trying to use color in the best way that I know how. And that would create the elements in the painting, like through the color.
Right.
So it wasn't planned at all. And it's just really my instinct on where to put the lines. Like like I painted on and off. So let's say over a week's time, I would get up early and paint, start it. I don't paint consistently for long periods of time. So let's say I spent an hour, then I go about doing my work and go back later and then see what needs to be done. So that's how I built upon it. It's just constantly moving away from it and then going back to it and seeing what needs to be done. I had in mind it's my backyard, but I didn't, only for the trees did I constantly focus on what's there because I didn't want them to necessarily be like an exactly like a tree, let's say, which I couldn't do anyway. So that reference, and also I can see that the most in my yard area, I can see the trees. So that is always in front of me. But the other elements are totally just based on style and design and what I thought would work the best, really.
Jackie, thank you so much. It's been so much fun talking to you and hearing more about your work. This is exciting, and I hope everyone sees your work at the festival in person or online, and also that they follow you and see more of your work in the future. It's wonderful.
Oh,
Thank you.
great. Thank you so much. You're so nice. This is such a great idea. And I'm glad you took a Westchester resident.
Oh, absolutely.